Jupiter transits to the end of its 12-year karmic cycle. And that is one of the most important transits for Jupiter. That's what I talk about today. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste.
Aham Brahmasmi.
Jupiter has been in Pisces since last year, and normally it stays in the same zodiac for about a year. So it takes about 12 years to go through the whole zodiac. And Pisces is the last zodiac of all the 12 zodiacs. So it has been in Pisces, it owns Pisces, and it's been in Pisces since, like I said, about a year. Now each zodiac has about 2.5 to 3 nakshatras in there. And the last nakshatra is of Pisces is Revati. And now Jupiter is going to transit into Revati. In fact, it's already transited into Revati on February 24th. It's going to stay there till April 21st. So Revati is the last nakshatra of the last zodiac. So it's the last 27th nakshatra of all the nakshatras. So hence it marks the end of the whole zodiac cycle. And now Jupiter is going to transit, or I'm sorry, it has already transited into the nakshatra of Revati. So what this means is that Jupiter has transited the whole zodiac, and now it's in the last and the final stages of completing the whole zodiac circle. So this marks the end of a very karmic cycle for Jupiter. Jupiter is Jivakarak, which means it represents us, our life, and our prana, which is our life force. So it represents us. When Jupiter completes this transit of all the 12 zodiacs, of all the 27 nakshatras, it signifies that it's completed a karmic life cycle. And now that it's in the last nakshatra of the last zodiac, it's representing for all of us that it's completing a karmic life cycle for us. It's coming to the end of a 12-year cycle for us. What does this signify? Why is this transit so important? We're going to discuss that. But in order to understand what this means for all of us, we have to understand the nakshatra of Revati. So I'm going to just mention the dates. It transited already on February 24th. It's going to stay there till April 21st. On April 21st, it's going to start a new zodiac cycle or a new karmic cycle, because it's going to go into this first zodiac sign, which is Aries. And it's also going to go into a new nakshatra, which is Ashwini. And if you watched my prior video, I mentioned that Rahu had already entered Ashwini. So Rahu is sitting in Ashwini, and Jupiter will go into Ashwini on April 21st or 22nd, depends on what day you consider. So what this signifies is extremely important. Because as I mentioned in my prior video of Rahu going into Ashwini marks the end of Rahu's karmic cycle, because Rahu moves retrograde. So for Rahu, Aries and Ashwini is the end of that karmic cycle. For Jupiter, Revati, because Jupiter moves in a direct motion. So for Jupiter, Revati is the end of a karmic cycle. It's not a coincidence that two very significant, very important event-giving planets are completing their zodiac karmic cycles. So, and both of them are going to be conjunct very soon in Aries, going to be together in Aries, in Ashwini, in the month of April. That's also when we're going to have the solar eclipse. So these events that happen in April are going to be very significant. The details of the solar eclipse, as well as the conjunction of Rahu with Jupiter, I will talk about at that time. Now, these 2 months that Jupiter is completing in its transit in Revati means different things for us. It's the finalization of our own karmic cycle. And in order to understand that, like I mentioned, we need to understand the nakshatra of Revati. So let's talk about that first. But if you haven't watched the video of Rahu going into Aries, Ashwini, you need to watch that as well, because that signifies almost the same thing, which is the end of a karmic cycle for us. So you need to kind of watch this video and that video and put those two significations together and understand why for almost all of us, this is the end of a karmic cycle. Things are coming to an end only because new things can start. We have to understand that unless we put an end, finalization, closure of things that don't work out in our life or things that must come to an end in our life, new things cannot begin. So let's take a look at the details for this nakshatra Revati. So Revati, number one, is ruled by Mercury. And now, before I forget, Mercury is actually debilitated in the sign of Pisces. So one of the things you could do if you have your birth chart is kind of see where Mercury is placed in your birth chart. And so you'll know the kind of impact that these 2 months it could have on you. Also, in my predictions, I've highlighted the 2 houses that are Mercury ruled for each ascendant, which is Gemini and Virgo. So you kind of have an idea for each ascendant which 2 houses get activated at this time because of the fact that Jupiter is in a Mercury ruled nakshatra. Now, the ruling deity for Revati is Pushan. And the name Revati actually means abundance. And this signifies the time of harvest. So harvest means obviously abundance. The main signification of this nakshatra Revati is the abundance of the harvest. And why is that? Because in Revati, we do the harvesting. We want the abundance and we harvest. So let's understand that in a little easier way. So the best analogy that I can explain to you is when a farmer harvests their crops. So what are the things that the farmer goes through? They harvest their crops. They assess what kind of crops they've had. Has it been profitable for them or not? Then they also clean out the land that they have. You know, they clean out all the dead stuff. They throw it out and they prepare the land. They clean it out perfectly. Now, how they clean it out will depend on the next crop, right? So if they don't clean it out well, they're going to have a poor crop the next time. So they clean it out really well. They pull out all the dead roots. They pull out all the stones. So they make sure that that land that they have is well aerated and, you know, it's ready for the seeding. And then they decide what crop to put or plant. Because if the old crop that they put out or the old whatever it is that they planted wasn't very profitable for them, well, maybe they decide, well, you know, this didn't work for me. I'm going to plant something different this time so it's a little more profitable. Well, this is exactly what we all do in Revati, is where we assess what have we amassed? Where are we today in this 12-year cycle? Where are we in terms of our financial goals? Did we accomplish everything? Where are we in our relationship? Are we happy with our relationships? Where are we in terms of our spiritual growth? Did we get to where we wanted to get to? So the first thing in Revati that we do is we assess our situation of the last 12-year cycle. Where are we in where we wanted to be as opposed to where we really are? So the first thing is we assess ourselves and our situation in everything that we desire to be. Are we really there? And the next thing we do is we decide, okay, what are the things that are not working for us or didn't work for us or worked against us? And so we decide, well, those are the things I'm going to clean out of my life and close out. Finalization, let's get rid of them. And then you decide what is the new crop you're going to plant, meaning what are the new seeds you're going to sow for the future, for your next 12-year karmic cycle. And this is extremely important because whatever seeds that you decide to plant when Jupiter goes into Aries is what you're going to reap in the next 12 years. That's also the time the sun goes into Aries. So when the sun goes into Aries, it's the start of new things. It's the start of new beginnings. So this year is going to be so important for all of us. It's when the sun will be in Aries, Jupiter will be in Aries, and that's the time when we can plant the seeds for whatever it is that we want to reap later on. So this year, it's going to be extremely important for all of us of what is the seeds that we're going to sow in our life that we want to reap in the next few years. So these 2 months are going to be very critical for all of us. April is going to be a wonderful time to plant those new seeds, to start new things that you really wanted to start and put those into action. For now, do your assessments and finalizations. And this is a very potent energy that Jupiter is carrying in Revati. It's extremely potent. Rahu is in the finalization. Jupiter is in its finalization. So this energy is really going to support all of us in doing that finalization and close out. And it's going to give us all that intelligence. One more thing is that Jupiter signifies wisdom, Mercury signifies intelligence. So right now, this energy of the Jupiter in a Mercury sign with the wisdom combined with the intelligence, it's going to give you all the support that you need in order to make these decisions, the closeout decisions, the finalization decisions, and the decision of how you need to proceed going forward in April. So I'm really suggesting and giving you the guidance. Don't let this time go to waste. Make sure you put it to good use, assess your situations, and then decide how you're going to proceed in the future, because that's really going to end really well for you. It's a very potent energy. It's very strong energy. It's going to make you make good decisions, and then come April, it's going to support you for everything, the new things that you decide to do. So don't let this time go to waste. So couple announcements before I move on to my predictions. One, I'm going to be making one video and answering all your common questions. There's lots of questions, the same question that a lot of people ask. What's the difference between Vedic and Western astrology? How do I find my ascendant sign? The difference between ascendant moon sign? Which one should I look at? Those kind of questions. So I'll make a video on just your questions. If you have a question you want to ask me, you can send me an email or you can put it in the comments. Now, don't ask me questions about your personal birth charts, because I'm not going to be reading your birth chart on my video. So, but if you have an astrology question that you want to ask me, you can certainly send me that. And I'm making one video, like I said, just to answer everybody's questions. You can ask me anything you want, as long as it's of interest to everybody, I'll answer it. The other thing is that there's lots of YouTubers that are getting these scams in their comments, where people are making a comment and saying, hey, if you pay me on Telegram, or investment this or that, or, you know, all kinds of, please be very wary, watchful of these kind of comments. I will never ask you for money on my comments. I will never send you to a WhatsApp. I will never send you to any other, website or whatever, asking for anything, suggesting you buy anything from me. So I'm telling you right now that it's a scam. Please don't fall for it. I will never ask you for money, ever, anything via my comments. The only people that pay me are that come through my email. They schedule an appointment with me for a reading, and that's the only way. Otherwise, in my comments, you're on your own. Please don't fall for these scams. And thirdly, I know that lots and lots of you are waiting for me to respond back to your emails. I apologize profusely that I have not been able to respond to everybody as fast as they would like. I get over 300-400 emails a day, but I'm doing it as fast as I can. You will not be ignored, you will not be forgotten, but you will certainly be in line, and I will respond to you, or somebody on my team will respond to you. You will not be forgotten, I assure you of that, but just please have some patience. And I thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. I'm getting so much love and so many viewers, so this channel is growing. I intend to keep putting out more and more videos. Like I said, now I'm doing one to answer your questions. If I have lots of questions, I'll certainly want to answer all of your questions. And now I'm moving on to predictions. The predictions are based on Vedic astrology, based on your ascendant sign on Vedic astrology. Aries, Jupiter is in your 12th house.
Aries, Jupiter is in your 12th house, and the 12th house represents expenses, foreign travel, foreign lands. But for students, it also means loss of interest in your education. And Mercury rules your 3rd house of communication, siblings, and your 6th house, which is the 6th house is a challenging house of illness, disease, also litigation, and generally not getting along with people, or even sometimes enemies. So at this time, there's 2 things you need to be very cautious of. One is to manage your expenses. The expenses could be related to health matters, and they could also be related to good things like travel, because both the travel houses are being impacted at this time. Also, the other thing is communication, which Mercury does rule your 3rd house of communication. So you need to be very cautious regarding your communication with co-workers, as well as siblings, neighbors, because the 6th and the 8th house are being aspected. So things that you say could be misconstrued. There could be miscommunication. So just make sure you're cognizant of the fact that you need to be cordial. You need to watch your communication so you don't create issues with relationships. The other thing is your health. So make sure you take very good care of your health. The fourth house is being aspected. So the fourth house is your comfort zone. So the challenging part is going to be maybe you need to get out of your comfort zone, your residence. You may have some relocation. Some of the Aries people may actually have relocation because the 12th and the 4th house is being aspected, as well as the 8th. So some Aries may have some relocation coming along, may actually relocate to a foreign country as well. Some Aries people may also be purchasing a new vehicle at this time because the 4th as well as the 12th house is being aspected. Also, the 4th house indicates your mother, so make sure you take good care of your mom, tell her you love her, and take good care of your relationship with her as well. As far as the new karmic cycle for Aries people is concerned, it could be one of two things or both things. One is the physical body. They could realize that they need to take good care of their physical body as far as their health is concerned. So they can start a new karmic cycle related to their physical body, where they work out on their body, they have new health issues that they work on, and then they become very healthy. The other thing is relocation to a different place or a foreign land or a completely different area. They move, relocate. So there could be two different karmic cycles that begin for them. One is relocating somewhere else, getting a new home, moving to a new home, or taking good care of their physical body and experiencing physical changes in their body. So it's one of these two things that the new karmic cycle begins for Aries people.
Taurus, Jupiter is in your 11th house.
Taurus, Jupiter is in your 11th house. The 11th house is a very good house as far as material, gains, wish fulfillment, desire fulfillment is concerned. That's what it represents. And then Mercury rules your second house, and the second house is a house of wealth and finance, savings. And the sixth house is the fifth house is the other one that Mercury rules for you. And so that's also a very positive house, but that relates not so much to material wealth as it does to a lot of the other enjoyments of life, which could be love life, it could be children, it could be gains from education or just education and learning new skills. So this is a very positive transit for Taurus because this is a time of wish fulfillment. This is a wonderful time as far as gains are concerned, material gains are concerned, increasing your financial wealth is concerned. And because it's aspecting the third house is your effort, the courage, and the dedication, hard work that you put in to get your material desires and wishes fulfilled. So as long as you put in all that effort, you're going to see very good gains. Also, the 11th house is your social network, professional network. So you can reach into that professional network if you want to see good gains in your career, and you will see good gains in your career. Also, a wonderfully pleasant time for love life because the fifth house is getting aspected. So as long as you have good communication skills, present yourself well, you can, if you're looking for love, this might be the time you find it. Also, it's a wonderful time for children. If you have children, they'll do well. If you're in the field of education, what a wonderful time. You actually may get rewarded. You may get recognized for something at this time as well. So very positive time for Taurus people in lots of different ways. Also, a lot of Taurus people will actually get engaged or married during this time because both the 5th and the 7th houses and the 11th and the 2nd house are getting aspected. So all the houses for getting married are getting aspected. So wonderful time for Taurus people to either get engaged, married, or even have children. So what is the karmic cycle that could possibly begin for Taurus people? Well, most of it is going to be the managing the your material desires and as far as your relationships are concerned. So it's going to be the work-life balance. Also, the expenses are going to have to be managed over the next 12 years, where because you may start earning at this time and you may realizing your material gains, you need to start managing this. Otherwise, the next 12 years of your karmic cycle could just relate to a lot of very high expenses that also may take a lot of toll on your body. So your physical body as well as your expenses is going to start the karmic cycle that relates to expenses as well as working very hard and depleting your own body and your own health. So that's the karmic cycle that's going to start for Taurus people, where they're going to be very challenged with expenses and very challenged with hard work, and your health. So make sure you watch that. Make sure you're very careful about that. Don't just run after material desires and wealth. Make sure you take very good care of your health and your relationships. Make sure you learn how to manage your work-life balance at this time.
Gemini, Jupiter is in your 10th house.
Gemini, Jupiter is in your 10th house, and the 10th house typically relates to your career. So this is going to be a wonderful time for career. And Mercury is your ascendant lord. So this is a time where you're going to put so much effort into your career, and you're going to see wonderfully good growth in it. Now, Mercury also rules your 4th house. So the 4th house is your domestic mental happiness, and it's also the 4 walls of your house. So some Geminis may relocate at this time because of career reasons at this time. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, what if I don't have a career? What does that mean for me then? Well, a career isn't something where somebody goes out and works for somebody else or has a business. The 10th house doesn't stop functioning for those kind of people. In that case, the 10th house means that whatever it is that you do during the day, whether you're a housewife or you're retired, then your career is to do that during the day. In those cases, when I say your career is going to do well, then you're going to find happiness during the day doing whatever it is that you do. If you're a housewife and you don't have the typical career, and during the day you work in the house, then you're going to find happiness in that. You're going to feel rewarded in doing that. So even if it is that you cook for your family, then your family is going to appreciate what you do for them. If you're a retired person and whatever it is during the day that you do, you're going to feel rewarded in doing that. So don't mistake the fact that when I say it's good for your career, you don't have the typical career. Doesn't mean that the 10th house has stopped functioning for you. So whatever it is that you do to keep yourself occupied during the day becomes your career, becomes your 10th house. So in those cases, now I'm saying that you're going to feel happiness during whatever it is that you do during the day that you stay to keep occupied. You're going to feel rewarded. You're going to feel appreciated. And that's for all Geminis, whether they work outside the home or whether they work inside the home and just cook for their family, which to me is a career as well. Because Jupiter aspects the 2nd house, and the 2nd house is one of financial wealth and savings, this is a wonderful time for Gemini to start saving money as well. And I think they'll see that their savings will grow. So Rahu already being in the 11th house, they're completely preoccupied with their material wealth. So now they might see an increase in their savings as well. Now the 6th house is being aspected. So one of the things that I suggest to them is to make sure they keep control of their health. They watch their health. And one of the things they need to do is control their eating or their diet, because their 2nd house and the 6th house gets aspected. Sometimes what you eat can upset your stomach and give you digestive issues. So make sure you do that. Watch what you eat. Take good care of your health. As far as their next karmic cycle, I would imagine that Gemini changes their approach or takes a new approach on how they manage their financial wealth and how the approach they take on their handling their social circle and their professional network. There could be a shift in their financial situation, and they could also take a very different approach on how they manage their dreams, aspirations, wishes, desires, and material rewards. And also there could be changes in their social circle, social network, and professional network. There could be changes in them, or they could take a different approach of how they handle their social circle and their professional network.
Cancer, Jupiter is in your 9th house.
Cancer, Jupiter is in your 9th house, and the 9th house is a very positive house in terms of spirituality and the non-material things of life. So it denotes a dharma, and it's the good luck house. So if you want to activate your good luck at this time, it's wonderful. Jupiter likes being in the 9th house, and because it actually can activate your luck factor, and the way you do it is by staying close to the divine. So make sure you stay close to the divine and keep your luck activated. So that's one of the key things about that. The other thing is that it aspects your 1st house, and it also aspects your 5th house. The 1st house is the house of yourself. So because Mercury rules your 3rd house, and the 3rd house is your effort, your determination, your courage, to work on yourself in different ways. Your physical body, you're going to take steps to improve your physical body or to have a very good physical health regimen, and you're going to see very good results of that. The other thing is you're going to put a lot of effort into the fifth house matters, which could be your love life and your children. And you're going to see lots of good positive outcome from that as well. It's positive in terms of children, it's positive in terms of love life, extremely positive in terms of that. Also, if you're in the field of education, wonderful, wonderful transit as far as that's concerned, because it relates to the fifth house. The only downside is that it's going to be an expensive 2 months for you, because Mercury does rule your 12th house, and the 12th house is a house of expenses. So you're going to be spending a lot of money on all these things, which is having fun on yourself or on the children, on education, on your love life. So if by all means, if you can afford to do it, it's not a problem, but it's going to be an expensive time. So make sure you control your expenses if you have to. But again, if you need to work on yourself, by all means do that. And this is a time for improved health. So make sure you do everything you can to improve your health at this time. Also, wonderful relationship with your father at this time. He's going to be your lucky trump card at this time, because he activates your luck at this time. Make sure you stay in close contact with him. Don't ruin your relationship with him. Tell him you love him and watch his health and take good care of him at this time. Cancer also has travel coming up during these 2 months. So Cancer will travel. All different kinds of travel could come up. Short distance, long distance, even foreign travel could come up for the Cancer people at this time. The karmic cycle change for Cancer people is obviously their destiny. The 9th house is the house of destiny. So this could relate to your career. Most Cancer people, I've said it many times, will have a complete destiny change in not only their careers, but also in maybe relocation. So something related to change of their career, change of their jobs, change of their profession is coming up for Cancer people.
Leo, Jupiter is in your 8th house.
Leo, Jupiter is in your 8th house, and the 8th house relates to sudden things that occur, sudden changes. There could be sudden obstacles or certain difficulties that crop up at this time. Now, the sudden changes could be good, but they could also be, some challenging issues that come up. The good things could be related to financial matters. You could get sudden wealth at this time as well, because the 2nd house is being aspected. And also Mercury relates to wealth, and it rules your 2nd house. And also Mercury rules the 11th house, which is also a wealth house for you. So sudden wealth in and the 8th house means unearned income. So if you were waiting for any insurance claims, if you were waiting for inheritance matters, large gifts, this is the time you'll get those settlements, because 8th house means unearned income. So that's the positive side of the 8th house. But the 8th house also rules certain challenges. So they could be related to health matters, because the 12th house is also being aspected. And because the 12th house is being aspected, the 12th house does relate to foreign travel. It also relates to expenses. So this is going to be an expensive 2 months for you, where you may spend money on either housing matters or some large purchases may have to occur that you didn't plan for. So it could be sudden expenses that come up as well. And they could relate to something within the household that happens. And at this time, there's a word of caution that I need to put out, that if you are thinking of any investment activity, financial management activity, you need to think very carefully before you do that, because of the 12th and the 8th house, as well as the 2nd house and all the wealth houses getting aspected or activated at this time. You really need to think very hard before you make any investment, financial management changes, because there could be losses, or you could make decisions that may not end so well or beneficially for you, because of the 8th and the 12th houses. They indicate losses at this time. So these 2 months, you need to be very careful about your financial planning decisions. And one more thing, you do need to take good care of your health as far as your diet is concerned. Make sure you're eating food that agrees with you. The 8th and the 12th houses getting aspected do mean, changes in your health. Just watch your health, nothing serious, just watch your health, what you eat. and also take care of your digestive issues as well as your feet. You know, you may have some issues with pain in your feet at this time as well. Your new karmic cycle begins, and there's going to be a change in relationships for you. Relationships with within family, like the extended family members, as well as relationships with children. There may be changes in these relationships or the nature of these relationships, and the key is going to be your communication style within family members and with your children if they're grown. Also, the focus will be on how you can better manage your finances over the next karmic cycle, next 12 years.
Virgo, Jupiter is in your 7th house.
Virgo, Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 7th house. The 7th house rules your relationships, especially with your spouse. It also rules any business partners if you have business partners, and it rules your marriage. Now, Mercury also is obviously your ascendant lord, and it also rules the house of your career. So this is a very beneficial transit for you in terms of career. You're going to make a lot of effort. You're going to put a lot of hard work, and that's going to get rewarded. You're going to see the effort of your hard work if you were in your career. If you're looking for a new job, you're going to get it now. If you are waiting for a promotion, some rewards, recognition, this is the time you're going to see it. Now, Jupiter is also aspecting the 7th house. I mean, it's in your 7th house, which means that you're going to also put a lot of effort in your marriage to make sure it works, to make sure your spouse is happy with you. And you're going to see the result of the effort that you put into your marriage. So it's going to be a pleasant time for your marriage. And because the 11th house is being aspected, it's also a very positive time for your spouse's career. So they're going to see some financial benefit as well. So your spouse is going to also do well financially if they have a career. For the Virgo people that were wanting to start a business or put more investments in their business, this is an excellent time to do that. You're going to see good results of that. You're going to see a lot of good returns on that as well. So it's a good time to start something new as far as a business is concerned, or to invest in something. Also, it's a good time for that. The 11th house is being aspected. The 3rd house is being aspected, which means that your effort, your energy is also going to be very high, and you're going to want to put effort in whatever it is that you do, and you're going to see the result of that immediately. Your new karmic cycle that begins is going to relate to your relationships with your spouse, or there could be a shift in your mental peace or domestic bliss level. There could be some changes within the home environment. Also, some Virgos may actually relocate or make changes within the home environment as well. And secondly, a new pattern with your career will start, where you may either have a good turn of events in your career, some changes within your career, or a different career, you know, something to do with your career pattern will now emerge in the next karmic cycle.
Libra, Jupiter is in your 6th house.
Libra, Jupiter is in your 6th house, and the 6th house relates to illnesses. It also relates to enmity, competition, litigation, and your co-workers. So at this time, you need to take good care of your health, especially as far as your diet and food is concerned, because it does aspect the 2nd house, and the 2nd house is food. So make sure you're eating healthy and eating well. Otherwise, it could lead to some digestive issues. On the good side, Jupiter does aspect your 10th house, which is the house of career. So it's going to give some good results as far as your career is concerned. It could give you some good recognition, because Mercury does rule your 9th house, and the 9th house, the house of good luck and destiny. So you might see some very good luck coming across in your profession, in your career. You may get recognized for your hard work and the things that you have done in the past. So this is a good time for career. The 2nd house gets aspected, like I mentioned, so it's a wonderful time for income and savings as well. So that's a good time. But at the same time, Mercury does rule your 12th house. So not only is it a good time for income and savings, but also it's going to be an expensive time for you, because the 12th house does rule expenses. So both good and bad, good for income, good for savings, but at the same time, you may end up spending it all. The 12th house also indicates some travel, so some Libra people may end up spending their money on travel-related expenses. Those Libras that work with matters relating to a foreign country or a foreign company, or anything to do with foreign business, overseas businesses will do really, really well, because the 12th house does indicate that, and Mercury does rule the 12th house. So Libras that have anything to do with anything foreign or overseas will do exceptionally well in their careers, especially if they relate to things coming from overseas, travel, transport, distribution, supply chain, and also any business relating to foreign countries will do exceptionally well at this time. The new karmic cycle for Libra most likely relates to one of two things, or both things. One could be how they handle their health issues. So they may take a very different approach to handling their health. They may become very healthy, and they need to become very healthy. So they take a different approach and handle their health very carefully. And the other thing is their relationships, because the 6th house does indicate relationships. And so they start taking a very different approach on how they handle their relationships. There could be change in their relationships in the new karmic cycle, and there could be improvement in relationships as the new karmic cycle begins. And these relationships pertain to specifically their spouse. So that's their new karmic cycle related to health matters and also to relationships with their spouse.
Scorpio, Jupiter is in your 5th house.
Scorpio, Jupiter is transiting in your 5th house, and the 5th house rules some of the wonderful things of life, like your children, your love life, all kinds of education and training, general intelligence, having fun, and your creativity. This is a very good transit as far as finance and wealth is concerned. The 5th house also rules your ability to make financial or investment decisions, and so impacts the 11th house, which is the house of gains, material gains, as well as wish fulfillment. So now's a good time to make any investment choices, financial decisions, and these could have very positive results for you. The 11th house also signifies your professional network, your social circle, and at this time you're going to see that you have a great chance of expansion in that network circle. And also if you need any help from that professional network group of people, this is a good time to reach into them and ask for that help. It's going to be very beneficial for you in the long run. It's a positive time for children. If you have children, and they will do really well. It's also a good time to have gains from children. Wonderful time for love life as well. If you're looking for love, this is a good time. You may get that, or you may find somebody if you're looking for somebody. The 9th house gets activated, and the 9th house is the house of good luck and your dharma and your destiny. So destiny is going to support you at this time, in regardless of what it is that you want to do. The 1st house is aspected, so it does mean a positive time for your physical body, your physical health. At the same time, Mercury does rule the 8th house for you. So for some people, if you're taking good care of your health, it's a positive time. You may have healing if you've had any prior health issues. If you haven't been taking care of your health, the 8th house Mercury is going to give you some sort of health challenges. It could give you that as well. The 8th house Mercury can also give you challenges related to wealth and finance. I know I've said that it's a good time for wealth and finance, but if they are not controlled or they're not managed, if you don't manage your finances well, there could be sudden expenses. Sudden, very large expenses could come that you didn't even know about or didn't plan for. So you have to be prepared for two things. One is sudden changes in health and sudden expenses that come from nowhere. So be very cautious about things that come out of nowhere, sudden things that come out of nowhere related to expense and health. So make sure you're taking very good care of your health, and also make sure that you don't make any sudden investment decisions, sudden financial changes. You need to be very cautious when you do that. You make any investment changes, financial management changes. You need to be very cautious before you make any changes regarding that, because the 8th house does indicate, sometimes it does indicate losses. As far as your new karmic cycle, it could be one of 2 or 3 things. One, it could be related to your children if you do have children, or if you're planning on having children. So that karmic cycle begins related to that. Or your love life, you may start a new love relationship, and so that's where the karmic cycle begins. And also one of the possible things is how you handle your wealth. Your whole attitude towards wealth management could also change at this time.
Sagittarius, Jupiter is in your 4th house.
Sagittarius, Jupiter is in your 4th house, and the 4th house represents your home environment, your mental happiness, your comfort zone. It also represents your mother, and it also represents your domestic, your real estate, your, four walls of your house, so your home. So this Jupiter transit in the 4th house is going to be favorable as far as those things is concerned. So you're going to find some happiness at home, some, mental peace at home. Mercury rules the 7th house, which is the house of marriage. So you're probably going to find some happiness at home with your spouse as well. Now, Mercury also rules the 10th house of your career. So it's all tied in where you're going to probably have some career changes. It's possible you have a career change, a job change, happiness from your career. And also that could result in a change in your home, or you could have a relocation. The relocation could also be to a foreign country because the 12th house is getting aspected, or it could just mean a simple relocation. But there could be a change of residence related to your career or because of your career, and it could be because of the career of your spouse, or because your spouse has changed their job. There could be some relocation as well. And when the 12th and the 4th get activated, also means some Sagittarius might purchase a new vehicle for themselves. Overall, this is a positive transit for Sagittarius because Jupiter is the ascendant lord for Sagittarius, and in the 4th house, it tends to give good results. So positive in terms of career, it's positive in terms of domestic happiness, and it's positive in terms of if you were looking to relocate, buy a new house, buy a new vehicle for yourself, it's also a good time. Also, if you were trying to do any travel, foreign, overseas travel, this is a good time as well. As far as the new karmic cycle for Sagittarius, it could possibly be around relocation or new jobs. So something new about to start as far as where you live or as far as your job is concerned. Something suddenly could happen there, or a new karmic cycle could begin related to those two things.
Capricorn, Jupiter is in your 3rd house.
Capricorn, Jupiter is transiting in your 3rd house, and the 3rd house indicates your self-effort, courage, bravery, all kinds of initiative. It also indicates short distance travel and communication, as well as siblings and neighbors. So Jupiter's transit in there is going to give you a lot of positive aspect to all those things. It aspects your 9th house, and the 9th house is the house of destiny and good luck. So definitely Jupiter is going to support you by giving you good luck. And one of the keys to getting the activation from the 9th house is staying close to the divine, or your dharma, your religion. Because the 9th house does denote all those things, which is stay close to your divine and activate your good luck factor. So one of the other things is the 3rd house does get activated with your self-effort. So if you want to start something new as far as a business or a project is concerned, this is a wonderful time, because the aspect on the 7th house from Jupiter and your 9th house means that whatever you start right now with good effort is going to give you good results. It's a very positive time to start something new. Also, because the 11th house is getting aspected, the 11th house is good gains. It means that whatever you do with effort, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, it's going to give you very positive results as far as material gains, financial gains is concerned. So this is quite a positive transit for you. Now, the 11th house is aspected, and the 11th house denotes your professional network, social circle, gains, desires, wish fulfillment, also your older siblings. So if there's anything that you require, any help that you require from your professional network, from people that work with you, or your friends, if you require any help from any of them, now's a great time to reach into them and ask for that help, and you will get it. So this is a positive time to even get help from people that you require help from, all kinds of help, certainly professional help. Also, the aspect from Jupiter on the 7th house. The 7th house is your marriage and your spouse. So it's a wonderful time, a positive time for your marriage, and your spouse will do really well as well. So this is a beneficial time for your spouse's career and your spouse's success as well. For Capricorn, that is in the field of communication, specific communication. I know all fields of career are related to communication in some way, but definitely that relates specifically to communication, writing, social media, or IT, things like that. This is a very positive transit because the third house does relate to all those kinds of professions. And lastly, but certainly not the least, please take good care of your mother's health. Stay close to her, and don't ruin your relationship with her at this time.
Aquarius, Jupiter is in your second house.
Aquarius, Jupiter is in your second house, and the second house represents finance, wealth, family, the food that we eat, and our communication. So Jupiter's transit in the second house is a very positive one for Aquarius as far as their finance is concerned. So Jupiter tends to increase their wealth, it gives good income, and also increase their savings. Jupiter's aspect on the 10th house, which is the house of career, is also very beneficial in terms of income. So, you know, income and career go hand in hand. So the aspect on the career as well as the finance house is a very beneficial transit for Aquarius. Now, overall, Mercury is the ruler of the 8th house for Aquarius. So the 8th house is sudden things. The sudden things could be good or bad. In this case, because the second house of finance and the 8th house is getting aspected at the same time, it could mean sudden wealth for Aquarius as well. And the sudden wealth could be unearned wealth, which means not something that you get from your career, but things that are settled as far as, like, it could be an insurance claim, it could be inheritance, it could be gifts, it could be large gifts. And it also get some gifts from your in-laws. So those are the kind of things that the 8th house and the second house together can give you. One other completely different impact is the health that the Aquarius might have issues with, because the 6th, and the 8th is getting impacted. So the food that they eat, they could have some digestive issues, or they could have sudden health issues that come up. Although they can get recovered pretty easily with these health issues as well, because Mercury also represents their 5th house. The 5th house is a house of recovery. So if they do have any health issues, the chance of recovery is very high as well. So I do caution the Aquarius people to take very good care of their health, and but also to make sure that if they do come across any health challenges, they should focus on healing and recovery from anything that they may be having health challenges from. This is also a positive time to heal relationships, so with family members. So if they were having some issues with family members in the past, there's a chance that, you know, you could heal that relationship. On the flip side, relationships that were going great, if you don't watch what you say and you don't kind of, you know, watch your communication style, you could also break relationships at this time with family members. So relationships with family is on the spotlight at this time, and it all depends on your communication style. It depends on whether you want to heal them or you want to break them. So your communication, what you say to family members, is going to be a big focus for you at this time. So your next karmic cycle relates to your income style, or your profession, and how you want to earn your income, and whether you want to change your profession or the changes that you make in your profession to earn your wealth. That's what the karmic cycle is going to be for you, as well as your relationship with your family members. So there's going to be a new karmic cycle that puts the focus on relationship with family members, as well as how you earn your income.
Pisces, Jupiter is in your ascendant house.
Pisces, Jupiter is in your ascendant house, the first house, and Jupiter is also your ascendant lord. And the first house denotes you yourself, your physical body, the way you think, and basically just denotes you in totality. Jupiter in the first house is going to be positive for as far as your health is concerned. It's going to have an aspect on the 7th house, and the 7th house is your marriage, your spouse. So this is also a positive time for the marriage. You're going to have probably spend some happy times with the marriage, and also your spouse is going to do well. So overall, happy time for Pisces people at this time as far as their marriage and relationship is concerned. Also, Jupiter aspects the 5th house, and the 5th house is your children. So your children do well, and it's beneficial time for them, especially if they're in the field of education or they're still students. It's a beneficial time for them as well. The 9th house gets aspected. The 9th house is the house of destiny. It's a house of good luck. It's also the house of your father. So if you're lucky enough to still have your father in your life, I'm recommending that you stay on very positive terms with him, stay close to him, enjoy a very positive relationship with him, because that activates your good luck factor as well. Also, the ninth house is the house of dharma, your religion, your divine. Make sure you stay close to the divine if you want to keep your good luck going during this time. Jupiter is the ruler of the ninth house, the natural ruler of the ninth house. And if you want to see the positive aspects of Jupiter at this time, you need to keep your ninth house activated by staying close to your divine and making sure that you do whatever it is that you do as far as spirituality and religion is concerned. The aspect on the fifth house brings a lot of favorable impact also, which is one of them is love life. So if you're looking for love, now's the time you find it. A lot of Pisces may actually get married during this time because the fifth and the seventh activation brings marriage, the possibility. And also if you're looking to start a family, what a great time for that as well. If you are a student or if you're in any field of education, this is also a very beneficial time. You might see good rewards and good results from your efforts if you're a student or if you're in the field of education. The new karmic cycle for Jupiter is going to be relating to how they manage their finance. They're going to have to relook at how they manage their finance and make changes to that, or destiny will make them change. And the other thing is their health. They need to take very good care of their health. I don't think that Jupiter in their ascendant house is making them take very good care of their health. I think they take it for granted sometimes. So two issues. One is their health and one is their financial management is what they're going to have to focus on in their next 12-year cycle.
And that's it for today, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful transit. I'll see you in my next video.